Hello and welcome back to the Bel-E and Scratch podcast. I am your host, Bel-E.
And I am Scratch.
Here for your listening pleasure from the basement, attic, storage room. Yeah, it's been a couple days instead of an entire weekend since our last little recording. Which, it's good to take breaks, go back to our lives, our rather boring lives now that the beer pandemic has, yeah, again, try not to get YouTube's copy bots on us, so it's a little boring around here. Well, to a degree, I would say.
Historical.
Yeah, historical.
Homeric.
Yeah. They're going to be writing the sequel to the Odyssey to this time.
500 years from now, they're going to be talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, imagine what the Black Plague was like back, imagine if you brought the Black Plague to modern day.
Well, you're sitting in class, when you're a kid and they drop that on you and you're like, oh, wait a minute. It wiped out how many people?
Uh-huh. Well, to be fair, back when the Black Plague was in full swing, they didn't really have the science and technology and, knowing to not throw your own, what's a good word to put it? Throw your own leavings out into the streets. Although, I have heard rumblings, I never learned this until I got to college. There was some rumblings about the bubonic plague being started mostly as biological warfare. Somewhere on, the Eastern Europe side, I'm not sure who was in conflict here. It's been a while since I've read anything about it. Something about, I think, Mongols, or at the very least, that Oriental side and the Eastern Europe were at war.
I don't know about that.
What, the whole, throwing bodies over the walls?
As far as the biological weapon, that's...
may have been accidental biological weapon.
Well...
Like something about, they threw the bodies of their dead men over the walls so that it would poison their food supply, and it inadvertently caused millions of people to die.
Well... That did happen.
Yeah, it did happen. I'm not
just trying to say what's the motive about it. The people trying to say, it's a biological weapon. Maybe it was something you had and you thought you had it under control.
Yeah.
But sooner or later.
Well, you talking about the bubonic, or are you talking about the beer?
Find a way.
Yeah, life will find a way.
Life will find a way.
Yeah, that quote's not just from Jurassic Park. That's life.
That's the way life is.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I just wanted to start off with that because I was thinking about it. Something else I've been personally thinking about is, making you play video games.
Don't hurt yourself.
No. Here's the thing. I don't want to just do podcasts. Well, let me phrase that. I don't want to just do only podcasts. I do enjoy the podcast. It's nice talking to you and to the microphone.
That's legit.
Yeah, it's legit. I enjoy it. But, every now and again, you kind of want to branch out. Now, maybe it's a little too early to be talking about this, but this is just, some of the rumblings behind the scene for you, dear listeners.
Foreshadowing.
Oh, yeah, epic foreshadowing. But, the whole thing of the out-of-touch old people plays X, Y, and Z, the Fine Bros have made their entire career based on it and almost destroyed it, but that'll be a topic for another day. So...
Who? Old people?
Oh, no. It's a long story, and I kind of don't want to get into it because I really don't know all the details. It's, This is definitely gonna have to be on the Patreon because there's it's basically a story of corruption, trying to do copyright on stuff that shouldn't be copyrighted, and some mild anti-Semitism, and I don't want to get into that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's definitely that's gonna be a paywall one, but what I mean by playing games is
teeing up.
Oh, oof, pretty much. But what I mean by playing games is, well, I showed you footage of the original Doom that came out in 93, 94,
Yes.
somewhere in there.
It was on scale with what was going on at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I explained the whole thing.
Graphics wise.
Yeah, graphics wise, Doom was groundbreaking. Well, I mean, not just graphics wise, everything. It is probably the big granddaddy of first person shooters. Definitely the granddaddy of all shotguns. No joke. Doom and Doom 2, they perfected the shotgun, especially the super shotgun.
The one-armed shotgun, ka-chonk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. I saw it. You're right.
Yeah, I explained how big it was because it was dropped in the middle of all of the litigation and the anti-video games. You know, this is back during the 90s when if it wasn't a children's...
PMRC.
Mm-hmm. If it wasn't a children's TV show or didn't have a, Lisa Frank sticker on it, it was actively trying to seduce you to the side of the Antichrist. That was the 90s. To a degree,
Lisa
I mean.
Frank, she was a teen idol in the 50s, wasn't she?
I don't know. I don't know who the hell she is.
PMRC.
Mm-hmm. You probably know more about the political side of that.
Absolutely.
But, plus you were there. I was barely a concept at that point. Yep. Called it.
Yeah.
So, I showed you footage of the original Doom.
Yeah. It was legit.
Yeah. And then, to compare how far Doom had come, I showed you footage of Doom 2016.
Oh man, it was ridiculous.
The jump.
It was like a punch in the teeth.
And then I showed you footage of Doom Eternal.
I mean, it was it was almost overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you under the right setup, what's cool about it is it's so advanced that even the most basic setup can enjoy because it's developed to that level. But man, somebody's got a serious command center going on. It looked worth your time.
Mm-hmm. That's id Software in a nutshell. They really haven't released a bad game, at least to my knowledge. Some people may dispute the Quake series, but that's opinionated in my opinion.
Sure.
Sorry. I'm trying not to be a jerk and go over your head all the time.
Hey, I got a letter.
Well, what I mean by playing game is basically I don't expect you to just play through the entire game unless it's, something like Skyrim, which you kind of have to play through it from beginning to end, even though Skyrim technically doesn't have an end, but we'll talk about that later, maybe. What I mean by playing Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal is basically I have gone through the games, especially Doom 2016. Doom Eternal, it is so-so.
Sure.
And I basically just go, okay, I have all the upgrades, I have all the modifications for the guns, I'm just going to put you on the tutorial level so you figure out, what's going on. I'm going to put it on I'm probably going to put it on the medium difficulty.
Is this plugged in?
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to give you all the guns, and I'm going to let you play. It's really fun.
Before or after my nap?
Hey. Dealer's choice?
That'll work.
Yeah, of course, this one won't be the only two, but I figured, it's a good start.
No, I mean, it's out. The jump alone is just jarring. The graphics are outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has their thing. Okay, it's more of a 1, maybe 2 at max dimensional game, and that's okay with me.
Mm-hmm.
Want to get more into the more, if you want to be a terrorsact about it and get into the 4th dimensional stuff when you got to pop off, see what your abilities are. I mean, everybody's wired a little different. I like a good thump.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be too advanced. It can be cunning. That's cool. But that one dimensional type of game that has the graphics, it's a good time. It's a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Good time. Absolutely. Take a shot at it.
Yeah. Yeah, for me personally, the more complex, the better. Well, let me rephrase that. Hang on. Oh, dang it, the mic picked that up. Sorry, just popped my knuckle. What I mean by the more complex is, I typically, personally, I typically like RPGs, role-playing games. Basically, it's not like LARPing, so... Once VR...
Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt.
Oh,
Okay.
The D&D
Right.
stories I could tell.
Dude, think about
And that dude's probably having the time of his life.
it. After that, yeah, he's like a nerd legend.
But I don't mean necessarily like D&D per se. I mean, I like D&D, but what I mean by RPGs, stuff like I'm trying not to say Skyrim, except it's already there. The Elder Scrolls series in general, I really like Oblivion, which is number 4. Let's see, I'm trying to think. Dragon Age, I only really like the first one. That's just me personally. I'm trying to think. To a degree, one of my favorite games of all time, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, is an RPG to a degree. And it's basically, it coined the phrase Metroidvania.
I dig the soundtrack.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't know who had the clout to pull that together, but that soundtrack for Symphony of the Night is beautiful.
And that's how I relate to it, because I have the slightest idea about the game process.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna make you play that one too. Again,
Sure.
It's basically a platformer and you hack and slash thing. Not a lot of here's the story. You are the son of Dracula. You got to go kill Dracula. So go do that.
Twist my arm, don't I? Why don't you?
I'm just trying not to give you stuff that's really complex right off the bat.
Oh, thanks.
You know, if I wanted to give you something complex, I'll give you, I don't want to say Age of War, or Age of Empires, because actually, what is the name of that game? It is one of my favorite games of all time. I know I have it on my Steam library, and it's updating. Why are you doing this? You do this every time I click on the icon. Shouldn't take more than like 10 seconds. I don't know. Sorry, a little bit of a sidetrack. I'm trying to figure out what this game is, even though it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. I'm trying to... It's not Age of War. Oh, come on. Come on.
Age of War.
It's not... It isn't Age of War. I think it's Age of Empires. Get out of my way. I don't care about it. Age of Empires 3.
Hey. Oh.
Specifically 3.
What you should have said.
Mm-hmm. That is one of my personal favorite games of all time. Even though the primary strategy is build up your army and overwhelm them with numbers. It works every time.
When do you use the dice?
Well, that's in D&D.
Oh.
And I have a couple of stories. I'm not a veteran of D&D. You know, I'm not like those Critical Role people.
Don't get carried away now.
Ooh. You have no idea.
You're right, I don't.
D&D's fun. You and your buddy we need to get together and play.
I don't know about that.
Yes.
I don't know if I have enough patience for it.
Oh, trust me. Basically, it's like interactive storytelling.
People I don't even want to feed. I'm going to get up there and bare my soul to. Hey, man, guess what?
Mm-hmm.
My shoes are really uncomfortable right now. No, I mean, everybody's got their thing.
Mm-hmm.
Structure on how, a lot of it has to do with how you're raised, what type of game theory. It's
not the YouTube channel.
No, not specifically. That absolutely no. I mean, in a broader sense, the very basis, the understanding of it. it just has to run its course. You know, you just have to allow it to cure and
No, I get it. Well, a lot of I guess you would mean me in terms of knowing about game theory.
well, I mean, it's good for everybody. I mean, there's a certain understanding
Well, to a degree.
to our survival.
Oh, well, what?
To our survival.
Gaming theory relates to our innate human survival.
Absolutely.
What?
You are facing an opponent 1-on-1. I mean, you know, it's one of the things that we excel at, because it's gotten us to where we are to this day. Deal with an opponent. To maybe not always get the best of, but survive. So, I mean, that's
and that's the core of the video games. Survive.
Cool.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Okay, it's kind of late in the day, just so you know, listeners. I keep wanting to say viewers, but I'm not on camera.
Yeah. Well.
Well, to a degree.
Just the baby monitor.
Yeah, this is. I just wasn't expecting a philosophy this late at night. Left. I don't know. But, I'll tell you what is complex. It's kind of diverting from video games. We talk about another thing I really like. I can't say it uncensored. It's basically those Mindbender movies.
You really like them?
Oh, I actively seek them out.
You mean like in the hook or in the
no, just
climax?
No, I mean in general. I mean like movies that F with you, like Mind F movies. I can't, I can't say the full title because of the censorship going on. But what I mean is stuff like my hallmark is a Dark City, Donnie Darko, Brazil to a degree. Brazil. I love Brazil.
It's crazy.
There's Memento, Jacob's Ladder.
A little spooky.
Jacob's Ladder is fantastic. Thank you very much.
Sure. Absolutely.
I threatened.
I'm not watching it.
Again.
Enough was one. You know, everybody has their thing. You know, it was cool. I would give it its due.
I think the main reason I seeked it out was not just because it was sought. Thank you. I think the main reason I sought it out, which is, once again, it is the direct inspiration for Silent Hill 2. Jacob's Ladder is the direct inspiration for Silent Hill 2. And that was the reason I watched it in the first place. And since I watched it, I consider it a masterpiece. I even read the script, and pretty one for one to a degree. There was obviously they cut some stuff out, but it was strikingly one for one the script. Which
really,
yeah. But no, I'm trying not to talk about video games again because I don't mind talking about video games, but later.
Yeah. I
really like Mindbender movies, and like I said, Dark City, Brazil, just some hallmarks. Requiem for a Dream personally was just really sad in hindsight.
Who was in that?
Jared Leto, one of the Wayans brothers. I'm trying to think. Jennifer Connelly was in it.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Requiem for a Dream just made me depressed, which I get that's the point, but it's like, Jesus. Like, you have every worst possible outcome for not good substance intake.
I don't know. I thought it was therefore it went in the wrong direction.
How so?
No, it just started up. I thought it was good.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of stalled.
Yeah, I admit it. It did kind of stall, and then it just kind of really picked up towards the end. It's like the hook was good, the middle is a little flabby for my taste, and then after the flab, it's like right back into the action, except it's like 5 times worse. Not worse as in bad quality, just worse as in like, oh no, oh no, that's not good.
Well, there's a reason you hear, other those types of movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I like the ones that give you the whole like Unusual Suspects, how good it came out. Backed at the end, you didn't.
Careful, I've yet to see Unusual Suspects.
Oh no, I'm not gonna tell you anything about it because I'm just using that as a broad example.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things that has a history of that type of surprise at the end.
Oh, the twist endings?
Yeah.
Before M. Night Shyamalan came and just made it a meme because he did it like once or twice right, and then he couldn't get it right the rest of his career so far.
If he was held.
Yeah,
It was held against his will. I don't know. I mean,
he just crashed and burned so hard.
Hey, maybe that's what he had is what he gave, and what he gave is what he had, and
honestly and truly, out of all the M. Night Shyamalan movies, I will admit The Sixth Sense is awesome.
Sure.
I thought Signs was pretty good. Well, I mostly liked Mel Gibson because that was before he just kind of lost his mind.
It was just that's how do you end a movie like that?
You just do, apparently.
Well, it's not like Independence Day where you there's a whole camp about alien civilization existing. Do you really want to end Signs, which is the
alien movie?
Well, it's a family,
Yeah, I get it.
Do you really want to end it with? I mean, there's no way to close the story because it starts with the family and the aliens come in, and that's the plot device that drives the story. But how do you end that type of thing? Without establishing something that the audience really is interested in and would like to see the other side of that fence.
Yep.
So you have to be careful how you close that out.
I'm trying to think. I haven't seen Unbreakable in a couple years, but I remember liking it mostly because, Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
I think he's a good actor, or when he's not trying to be John McClane all the time. Seriously, if anyone questions how good Bruce Willis is as an actor, they need to go see the movie. What is it? It's not Better Off Dead. It's
Oh, definitely not.
No. It's the one where where's my phone? It's the one where it's the two women who hate each other because one stole the other one's husband, and they go see like this voodoo priestess witch doctor lady whoever, and they give Bruce Willis.
Death Becomes Her.
Death Becomes Her. Thank you. Death Becomes Her. Look, I'm not. If anyone,
take that, Surrey.
Yeah, Cortana. Yeah, if anyone doubts Bruce Willis's acting ability, they need to see the movie Death Becomes Her, because when I first saw that halfway through the movie, I didn't know that was Bruce Willis.
All right.
Because here's the thing. When you think of Bruce Willis, you think of this, super macho man, the John McClane.
Definitely the alpha guy.
The alpha guy,
Element.
Corbin Dallas, which is amazing.
Oh.
Anyone who says The Fifth Element is terrible, you're lying to
dedicate a whole
yourself.
episode to The Fifth Element. I could do that.
Oh yeah, I can do an entire episode dedicated to The Fifth Element. We might have to do that next time. Like, just talk about The Fifth Element.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Just call it The Fifth Element episode or something like that. Because I have opinions, and I know you have opinions.
I could beat that movie for to death.
Oh, to death! It's so beautiful. But that's the thing. When you think of Bruce Willis, you're thinking of the macho man, alpha dude.
Yeah.
And in Death Becomes Her, he is the exact opposite.
Look,
and it's wonderful.
Look who's he's on screen with. You know.
I forget their names. I know who they are.
Glenn Close?
No. It's not Glenn Close. I'm looking it up. I recognize both of them, but I rarely remember actors' names unless they're like very prolific. Death Becomes Her. There we go. Okay, who is the cast? Obviously got Bruce Willis as the doctor dude, doctor husband person, alcoholic.
Bad mustache,
but I think it helped hide the fact of who he was. Goldie Hawn was one of them. Meryl Streep. Who is also a good actress.
Oh, well, yeah.
I said good, not... Yeah.
She's got enough trophies on her mantle.
Yeah. She don't need,
She gets it done.
Yeah, she gets it done. Yeah, she don't need no pat on the back from me.
No.
Yeah, she's earned it.
No introduction either. She gets it done. I'll give her a due.
Just give them their due. But yeah, Bruce Willis, he can act, or at least he could before he basically figured out he just has to be the alpha dude and collect a paycheck. Which, to be fair, if you know, some people are more ambitious than that. I like to think I'm more ambitious than that. But if you find a one-trick pony, you're gonna milk it for all it's worth.
Especially as well, and as I don't know. Just from my perspective, it looks like he's having an easy time of it, playing that role. So more power to it.
Yeah, respect.
I've heard some rough stuff from him. I heard that Stallone and Schwarzenegger couldn't stand him after working with him on the
Expendables.
The Expendables, yeah.
Really?
That's what I heard. I don't know. So I read that more than once.
What was he just?
I don't know.
What, just uptight and a priss or something?
Nah, he's a prick.
Oh, that sucks.
I don't know.
Well, it's just look. I don't condone celebrity worship or any sort of that.
No.
Or anything of that sort.
Don't put people on pedestals.
No, don't put us on pedestals.
No, don't do it.
Like, we're human. We make mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, because that's when people get in trouble.
That's right.
And that's when the celebrities who are being essentially worshipped get in extra trouble. So they let everything go to their head, and then all of a sudden it's like they think they're, the next Messiah. But
I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah, what are you going to do?
People paint, everybody in your life depends on you.
And they keep telling you you're the greatest.
You're the greatest, Yeah, sure. Who wouldn't enjoy that? But you got to get to a point where you're just like, wait a minute. No. 9 out of 10, maybe 10 out of 10. It's statistically impossible. You can't do it. You gotta wise up.
But I just, like I said, I don't condone celebrity watching or celebrity worship, but it does kind of suck a little bit when you see someone who you're a big fan of, they turn out to be just a huge jerk. And I mean that in in the a-hole sense. Again, not trying to get the copyrights.
Yeah.
But, which does lead me.
There's some folks out there that, kind of give everybody else behind them a bad rap.
True. Which, that does lead into my little theory, which I have a lot of.
Yeah.
Just so you know, listeners. I have this theory. I don't know if this is written down in psychology. The whole aspect of, personally, what I have observed is every time, just for context, I am a big horror movie fan. I love them. Well, at least the really, really good ones. You know, the original Nightmare on Elm Street 1 and 3, in my opinion, are the best ones. The rest of them range from okay to questionable to, oh, jeez! Please tell me Robert Englund got paid for this.
Yeah.
Because that man was a saint, or is a saint.
Mailing it in.
Yeah, no, he never mailed it in. He went
That's true,
full.
he
Yeah,
didn't.
Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger went full force, and I respect him so much. I want his autograph.
Hey, you know, own it.
Oh yeah. Let's see. I've seen the original Halloween, like 1, 2, and 3 was okay. People give 3 a lot of grief, but it was good because they tried to make it an anthology, and as an anthology, it was good. As a sequel to the Michael Myers timeline, no, not really. I mean, we both saw the new one in theaters, the new Halloween, which was, oh yeah, and John Carpenter killed the soundtrack like he always does.
I like the cinematography. I thought it was pretty good.
It was beautiful.
It was a lot of wood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, they were kind of in a foresty area, I think.
Fire.
And fire.
Fire.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember now. Okay. So, with that in context, you know, the fact that I'm a big horror movie fan, you know, big fan of the Dead Meat Channel and all those guys. Don't you knock Dead Meat. The kill count folks are amazing, and I want their autographs. James A. Janice is awesome, and I want his autograph.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know. But, what I've observed ever since I started watching horror movies and looking at the behind the scenes and the script, you know, the making of stuff, behind the scenes stuff, is, every time I do, you know, like a sit through of the making of blank, you know, to just insert movie title.
Right.
With a few exceptions, the people playing the antagonists, like the monsters, Freddy Krueger, the many people playing Jason Voorhees. I'm trying to think. Stephen King's It is also a good one, both the new and the old. There's a couple other. Captain Spaulding from House of 1,000 Corpses, The Devil's Rejects, etc.
There's gonna be a test on this later.
No.
Okay.
These people who played these horror movie icons, you know, these absolute monsters on the screen, their real life actors are some of the coolest, gentlest people you could ever see and talk to.
It's a facade.
Yeah, it's like it's a facade. My 2 favorite examples is
well, you gotta keep that stuff. You gotta keep that stuff under wraps.
Well, yeah, exactly. Obviously, Tim Curry is Tim Curry.
Tim Curry,
who, honestly, as far as I've researched, can do no wrong. You know, God help him where he's at right now, but so far I've not heard one bad thing about him, like in terms of him being a malicious person.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
so,
there are people that disagree with his voice of roles.
Sure.
But you cannot be on the wrong side of his performance.
No. I have yet
got it done. So,
and here's the thing with Tim Curry, I have yet to see him not give his all for a role. I've yet to see a piece of performance he has been in where he did not give his absolute best.
That's
everything from Frankenfurter to the Darkness and Legend, Wadsworth.
Listen, when he
even in Command and Conquer 3,
even at Charlie's Angels, when he loaded up in that sumo suit. My God!
You mean
there is nothing this guy will not do. So
basically, the original the Charlie's Angels movie that came out in like 2000 and something early 2000s, where it's I know what scene you're talking about. It's the one where it's Bill Murray and Tim Curry in sumo suits, and they're at this party. It's in the beginning of the movie.
It's It's horribly culturally insensitive.
Yeah, this was like 20 years ago. Yeah, this was 20 years ago. It was okay then.
Oh my God.
And yeah, Tim Curry just went full force at Bill Murray.
It was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just like, yeah, like you said, there's nothing this man won't stop at.
I think he is a tremendous performer. And then there's Bill Murray.
Who
yes. Who there's a...
He's developed his own mythos, and I don't mean as an actor.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, you know, from what I've heard, you don't know exactly who's gonna show up for work on Monday.
Yeah, I have seen like little pockets of legends about Bill Murray, about how I've seen things like there was a guy eating at a McDonald's. And he was like inside the McDonald's. This was before the beer pandemic, just so you know. He was in the McDonald's and he was eating whatever he ordered. And Bill Murray just shows up, doesn't say anything to the guy. And Bill Murray just goes over to this guy. He picks up a small handful of fries, stuffs it in his mouth, eats the fries, and said to the guy, "No one will believe you." And then he walked away. I don't know if that's true. But I believe it. But I believe it. There's another one where
no one will believe you.
No one will believe. That sounds like Bill Murray. That sounds like something he would do.
When they find my boot printed stuffed up your rump, get your hands out of my plate.
There's another story I read.
Touch my stuff.
Oh yeah, don't touch our stuff. There's another story I read about Bill Murray where I don't know if he just showed up to a random bar or this was at a wedding reception or something, but he shows up at a bar.
Bill Murray in a bar?
Yeah, Bill Murray in a bar.
Oh, that's...
I know.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. And he basically started bartending, and according to the report, everything you...
He definitely know the menu.
No. That's the thing. That's the thing, though. He started bartending, but no matter what you told him, like you told him like I want like Moscato, or I want whiskey and rye, or you Jack and Daniels, or a Lemmy, if you will. You told him anything, and all Bill Murray did was just pour shots of tequila. And I'm like, that sounds like Bill Murray. That sounds like something he would do. That sounds like something I would do. I wouldn't do tequila, but that sounds like something I would do.
Sure.
You just, you just say like, I don't know, scotch on the rocks, and I'll be like, here is your strawberry fruit daiquiri thing, because I like those.
Freaking yay.
Ooh.
Anyway.
Oof. Yeah,
I mean, you don't know. Bill Murray had quite the reputation, and I love his work. All of his work.
Mm-hmm. Even the stuff that doesn't work, it's wonderful.
Even the stuff that doesn't work,
like the razor. That's actually the only reason he did Ghostbusters. I heard the only reason he did Ghostbusters is so they would give him, like, the studio would give him funding and allow him to release his movie, The Razor. And because it flopped, he basically stopped acting for X number of years because he was upset.
I'll take your word for that.
Yeah, I don't know how true that is, but it's just what I've read, and I was like, well, that would explain a lot, if that's true.
Sure.
Yeah. Although, in the end, I will say this, in terms of, really old Bill Murray history, I think he came out on top over Chevy Chase. If you know some really old school SNL Bill Murray history, I think he
definitely's got more hits.
Mm-hmm.
Chevy Chase has got a lot of people. Chevy Chase has got some really good early stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Before Fletch, or Caddyshack.
Christmas Vacation.
Well, the thing about Christmas, talk about the gifts that keeps on
giving.
Holy cow. I can't imagine that brother's royalty checks off of Christmas Vacation. So if you're an artist out there pay attention. You need to do something that I don't believe in Christmas. It don't matter. Sing some Christmas songs. you know.
Yeah.
You get a little every year. That brother gets a big old. I don't know how much it is,
but he gets a check.
He gets
something.
It's enough to live well.
Yeah, so any musicians,
a Christmas movie like that.
Musicians, writers, like screenplay writers, songwriters, anything. Just do Christmas stuff.
Yeah, be smart about it.
Yeah, be smart about it. You may not believe in the Christmas. You may be of the religion of tea. He gets it. But do Christmas stuff because it is very, very good for your wallet.
Yeah. And well, you say, hey, I can't do something I don't believe in. That's not necessarily true. I mean, you bringing...
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Bringing joy to other people that want to enjoy your talent and are willing to throw money at you. Get it. So.
And plus the whole notion of I can't do something I don't believe in. Well, Hollywood and the music industry does it all the time. So, well, I don't want to get into that tonight, but... No. But as a rule, that's that's kind of the media in general doing a lot of stuff they don't believe in.
I certainly hope not.
Yeah. But geez, we kind of went on a tangent. But this it kind of connects a little bit to what I was talking about earlier about the whole thing of people who act in horror movies who are like the monsters or the villains. They end up being the most gentlest and coolest people to talk to. Another good example, aside from Tim Curry, was is it Bill Skarsgård? I forget his first name.
Oh, the guy from It.
Yeah, the newest guy to play Pennywise. I've seen some interviews with him where he's talking about his time on the set, how for part one of the new It movie, they basically kept him away from the kids. Like when he's in makeup, they kind of shot a lot of their scenes in different rooms, so the kids never saw him for a good part of the production until. If you've seen the first movie, if you've seen It Part 1, the newest one, you're going to know what scene I'm talking about. It's towards the end. It's when they're in the Neibolt house and Pennywise unbends himself out of the refrigerator.
Huh.
You remember what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I think it's it wasn't Richie. No, it wasn't Richie. It was Eddie. He had fallen through the floor and had broken his arm, so he was basically a lame duck. And and then Pennywise, he basically just unfurls himself out of the refrigerator and comes crawling up to Eddie.
It was quite unsettling.
It was. You know what's even more unsettling? Yeah, I can make this worse.
Sure, help yourself.
The kid Eddie, that actor.
Yeah.
I forget his name. I'm sorry.
I don't know. Bob.
Yeah, I was gonna call him Eddie. Eddie. The actor who plays Eddie, that reaction, his acting, that's real. Because that's the first time he had seen Skarsgård in full makeup. So him being terrified and about near to cry, that's real. When those kids came into that room to confront Pennywise to stop him from getting to Eddie, those were real reactions because they'd never seen him, in the full makeup, which just makes it all the more horrifying.
He'll be at some kid, say he'll have a child, some kid's birthday party, and he'll be like, yeah, let's get some cake, and he'll feel like a clown and pop out of a closet, man. He'll just lock up and piss himself and fall over.
But here's the thing,
freaking laying next to the couch in a corner sucking his thumb. But
here's the thing about the interviews I saw of Skarsgård. He after the scene was done, he would, check to make sure the kid was okay. Because, in the front, when he's acting, obviously he's acting, but in the back of his mind, Skarsgård apparently said that he was just going, oh my God, I'm traumatizing this kid. Like, so after the director says cut or scene or whatever, he would just go over to, make sure that they were okay.
Don't stop scaring him yet!
All right,
no,
Sam.
No.
All right, Sam Kinison.
Don't you turn that smoke off.
God rest his soul.
It's more of that fake blood. Get it in here. It's more of that kid's face.
But yeah, that's a good example. He made sure that the kids were okay. He made sure the other actors were okay. I heard this story, talking about it in part 2.
Yeah.
Bill Hader.
Uh-huh.
You know him?
Yeah, I know him.
Okay, now
well,
I'm not sure how true this is, but
after lunch the other day, he was quite angry with me.
But I'm not sure how true this is, but this sounds like it's very genuine. Skarsgård and Bill Hader were talking to each other off, on set. And, they were kind of waiting around. I don't know what they were waiting for, but they just were talking, chatting each other up. They're in full costume, too.
All right.
So, at some point, Bill asked Skarsgård, he asked him about the eye trick that Pennywise does, where one eye will just kind of drift to the side while the other one's focused on you.
Yeah.
Apparently, Bill... he asked, what kind of effects they did to do that on him. Apparently, what Hader didn't know was that eye trick that Pennywise does.
Yeah.
Skarsgård can do that naturally.
What do you mean?
He has a lazy eye, and he can do that, like physically move the muscles and nerves to do that. So they didn't have to digitally edit his eye. He did that himself.
Oh, well, that's fantastic.
And apparently when upon being asked, what kind of effects they did to the eye, Skarsgård replied, "Oh, you mean this?" Made a face, a Pennywise face, and did the eye trick in front of Hader. And Hader apparently got so spooked he ran away.
Sounds like Hader.
Yeah.
No, I mean, he fit the role.
He was wonderful.
Unassuming.
Mm-hmm.
Flawless feature.
Mm-hmm.
Features. Just fit right in.
He's just a little off-putting because of the lazy eye.
Yeah.
But that's, that happens
with
people with lazy eyes.
That was the regular thing. It was
yeah.
it was like a pristine symmetry, and then there's that.
Then there's something.
And there's that one thing that gives that sinister quality.
Oh, yeah.
It's always that trait.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of sets that red flag. Everything else is immaculate. Not just good, not just perfect, but immaculate.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's kind of like Tom Cruise in Scientology.
Oh, get some stuff started right now.
I'm sorry. But yeah, it just kind of I've noticed that people who play horror movie villains tend to be nice people, and I've also noticed the people who play the good guys in other movies, they tend to not be cool people. That's kind of the dichotomy. I'm trying to, or is it dichotomy? Is that the right word?
Yeah,
but that
works.
It's basically what I'm trying to get across is people who play monsters on camera are nice people, and people who play good characters and good people on camera have a tendency to be not good people in real life.
I've heard that.
Mm-hmm.
I've experienced that actually.
What's your experience? What's your tale?
I heard some things about Jack from Titanic.
Leonardo DiCaprio?
Absolutely.
Oh no. Yeah, what about him?
No, I just heard that. I mean, his work is just crackerjack.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
Absolutely. What he did in, I thought, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, it's a very unassuming Tarantino movie until the end.
It's yeah. It kind of bumps around in that lower A, upper B level kind of. It does get more into the whole B movie ish type of with that scene in the house with the phone and the him and the girl and the and
oh, yeah, you mean the ending?
Yeah, I mean, and you know, that is so cliche, that reaction based on what he had imbibed and what was going on around him, and then once it kicked in,
it just went full. Yeah, it went full Tarantino.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, to be fair, there were two technically in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Now, mind you, I haven't seen the very beginning of it. I've only seen like the last 50% of it, and I thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
If you know Quentin Tarantino's work, you know it to be essentially a big budget B movie for various forms and fashions, obviously.
Sure, absolutely.
You know, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it's good stuff. You know,
he does good work. I have to agree with him. He does good work. What are you gonna do? Well,
he just does good stuff.
He does good stuff.
You know, I haven't seen Reservoir Dogs yet. Obviously, Kill Bill, but everyone's seen Kill Bill 1 and 2.
Absolutely.
I've seen From Dusk Till Dawn. I thought that was really good. The creature effects were awesome
for what it was.
I believe Tom Savini was on it, and he was awesome. If that's the case, thank you, Tom Savini. You are God's gift to makeup.
It's a nice guitar.
Let's see what other stuff. I haven't seen The Hateful Eight. Was Django Quentin Tarantino? Was that somebody else?
I think so.
Okay, I hadn't seen that one yet. But not The Hateful Eight. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. If you know Tarantino's work, Pulp Fiction too. If you know Tarantino's work, when you start watching Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, you'll be very jarred. Because
the nostalgia was it was so clean and pristine,
very clean and pristine,
but not in a totally unrealistic way. Like
an homage or like a tribute. There's homage and there's tribute.
Yeah, it had an edge to it. It did.
But what I mean is, every director has little quirks, little hallmarks, that they'll put in their movies. It's kind of like a maker's mark, or when Bob Ross signs his painting at the end of the show.
Watermark.
A watermark. Every director has a watermark, and they'll put it in every film they do because it's their film. It's their watermark. Every director, well, every good and fantastic director has it.
Absolutely.
A good example is an example for me is John Carpenter. John Carpenter makes the soundtrack.
Yeah.
That is his watermark.
Yeah.
I mean, he has other watermarks, but that's his main watermark. He makes the soundtrack to the movies he's making. Well, I think there was like 1 or 2 exceptions, but for the most part, it's him. Which, that's fine. Talented fellow. I love John Carpenter's work. Holy crap. And Tarantino, he obviously has watermarks. There's usually the
oh, absolutely.
You know, there's always the gratuitous violence.
I mean, years from now, you'll watch a movie and go, "Did Tarantino direct that?"
Oh yeah.
I mean, he has a legitimate style.
Yeah, Tarantino, there's usually the gratuitous violence. There's usually like a really serious, drawn-out conversation. Like very serious, drawn. Not boring per se, but just a very serious conversation.
Yeah, because you got to get that moral of the story out there.
Sometimes
club them with it.
Yeah, sometimes there'll be the exchange of dialogue that you kind of wish you didn't hear from Tarantino. A good example is the Christopher Walken speech about the watch in Pulp Fiction. Been a while? Okay, when you see that movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. He's talking about the watch from. He's talking to Bruce Willis's character.
Oh, yeah, the boxer.
Yeah, the boxer. Okay. He's talking to the boxer as a kid, and about how there's this pocket watch when granddad's pocket watch, and it became his dad, and his dad was in like Vietnam, and to hide from the Viet Cong, he had to hide the pocket watch in particular place where no one would look.
On the back porch.
And sometimes in Tarantino movies, there's going to be, hallmarks like that, where it's going to be, something you're going to hear that you're just going to go, why did I need this in my life?
Exactly. You're like, wait, he's not getting ready to put the, oh, man, come in here. How much money did I pay to come in here? How much the popcorn? Mm-hmm. Oh, my God. I come here and watch this dude friggin' stuff
No. You don't see it. You just hear him talk about it.
Chinese star-shaped wristwatch up his back door.
And, of course, there's another hallmark of Tarantino, which I've only seen a couple of times, which is the foot stuff.
What do you mean?
You remember from Dusk Till Dawn when Selma was on stage?
Absolutely.
And it was the alcohol from her ankle into Tarantino's mouth. There usually is something like that.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
He digs that stuff. Like, that's not ironic. That's legit.
Oh.
Sometimes...
I was worried about that, because I'm like, I mean, hey.
Yeah, another...
I was like, wow,
she's going for it. Yeah, I actually never found out what her reaction...
And then off the foot and drinking.
Yeah, going directly to Tarantino.
That's definitely not my thing, I'll tell you.
No.
Dude, that foot spin, man.
Yeah.
And them toenails. I don't care.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's that's kind of another hallmark of Tarantino. You see it every now and again. But when you watch...
When he brings the foot into... when Kill Bill 1.
Where?
When she's laying in
the toe. Oh my God. I didn't think about that. You're right.
Dude, you're busted.
So busted. But...
Does the term orthopedic turn you on?
Oof.
Orthopnic.
But what I mean by the hallmarks, the watermarks of Tarantino is when you watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, you don't see those watermarks. Not really. Not from what I saw. Like, obviously there's the serious conversation. There's someone monologuing about how cool they are or whatever. Right. But for the most part, like the really obvious watermarks, you don't see them until like the last 10 to 15 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, he tamed it all down up until like the last 15 minutes.
Kind of like ironing the wrinkles out of a shirt.
And then there's like all the wrinkles at the bottom of the shirt.
Okay. Yeah, that's legit. Well, here's the thing. Just from my perspective, going in knowing that he had directed it, and this is why I want to watch it a second time, because I want to be able. The second time, I'm going to be able to enjoy it more. And here is why. Exactly what you just said. Because the entire time I'm thinking, this is Quentin Tarantino. I keep waiting for that stick upside the head.
Yes, and me too.
And I was like,
where is it?
And it's good. It's like, hey, it's cool. And then when I realize what it's trying to do, I can't even. I'm like, am I? I'm like, he's setting me up because it's coming in the climax. Yeah, you can see the whole thing when he came out with when he came.
Oh, hang on. Spoilers if you want to see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. We're about to talk about the ending.
If you've seen it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen it, here's the cover. There is a object of addiction that is installed earlier in the story that is foreshadowing. It is the
it's a very particular thing in the 70s
that people did that I have seen personally.
Oh my God!
In action, firsthand. It's called a SHRM. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyway, that later in the story plays a key role, because someone like, with my background and understanding of what kind of compound and what kind of mixture and how it's going to be accessed by one of the characters, from my background,
I believe it's Brad Pitt.
Yes, absolutely, it was. And you're like, here's this thing is this thing is a grenade, okay? And you're like, why is that there? And then they don't address it anymore, and you're like, you know what? That's going to come back later.
Mm-hmm.
And it did, and you knew when it did, things were going to get a little freaky.
They also foreshadowed the Manson family by talking about Roman Polanski, yeah.
Polanski.
Yeah, they talk about Roman Polanski, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah, I thought that was. Well, it was like, it's a very.
I know it's a touchy subject, but as soon as they mentioned him and his wife, it's like, oh no, please don't tell me. Yeah, it's sad. It's sad for her and the kid mostly, but in that movie when they talked about the both of them, I was like, oh, this can only end one way, and it's gonna get bad.
It was really interesting how they
except it really didn't do that.
Yeah, I mean the end literally altered a timeline.
Mm-hmm. Thankfully, I already made the spoiler warning.
Yeah, I'm not gonna give any details. I mean that's a broad observation.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I thought, and I definitely wasn't expecting that, but I was glad to see it.
Which part? The
ending, the way the ending,
the Manson family versus
took that turn there at the end. I was glad to see that because I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed the cinematography. I definitely enjoyed the acting. It was fantastic,
beautiful.
Then the way it ended, I didn't want to continue because once you understood who a couple of the players were, how that story ends. So there's a sad end over there in the way they kind of nudged it. Now, may it happen later? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the movie, it didn't happen, and you could see how it skewed away from where you thought it was going to go.
Yeah.
And you thought it was going to go somewhere sad.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of popped away. So that was kind of allowed you to take a breath.
Mm-hmm. Except not really, because the guy with Brad Pitt with the Sherm and the people in the house. And you're absolutely right with the whole thing of Tarantino didn't play any of his cards like his usual. He didn't do any of his usual plays up until right at the end. And the whole time I'm thinking, where's the gunfight? Where's the Reservoir Dogs cutting off the dude's thing? Well, not thing, but thing. Where's the foot?
Yeah.
Where's the hallmark?
I thought the Brad Pitt character, Bruce Lee thing was cool.
That movie got so much heat for doing that. Because there's people in this world who, they treat Bruce Lee as like their saint. Which is understandable, but at the same time, it's like, honestly, personally, I consider Ip Man more of a saint, but that's just me. He really wasn't a saint, but even then, but he's still a human being.
Can't put people on a pedestal.
You can't put people on a pedestal, like we said earlier. But yeah, I enjoyed that scene. Yeah, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was just whoa. Very different, but it was good.
Yeah, I liked it.
And it should have won Oscars, even though Oscars don't matter anymore. The heck was that? Oh, dang it, Doom Eternal.
Flotsam and Jetsam. Flotsam.
It was more like... It was more like that.
I mean... Leonardo DiCaprio, there's such a style to anything that Brad Pitt does. Leonardo DiCaprio, he can sleep his way through a movie and deliver an award-winning performance. ridiculous how
Well,
easy
technically,
it seems to be for him.
Well, technically speaking, it would be more like award-nominated performances because he only has like one Oscar, I believe.
Well, I'm just I'm not talking about awards specifically. I'm just saying
in general.
Just in general, his ability is just.
I'm just saying that in order for Leonardo DiCaprio to have gotten that his Oscar, he had to go and fight a bear in like sub-zero temperatures. I'm just saying that's what it took for him to get an Oscar, despite the fact that he is just a good actor. May not be a good person. Are you trying to say that audiences paid money to watch him get his ass kicked? Is that what you're trying to say? Not for Leonardo DiCaprio. I would definitely argue that for Tom Cruise. No, I'd pay that to see Leonardo DiCaprio. Well, you know what I'm saying. I mean, you know. No, I would rather. I personally would rather pay money to see Tom Cruise get the heck beat. Tom Cruise has taken it. I mean, I'd rather see him get this. It beat out of him. Well, actually, Edge of Tomorrow. That was a good movie. That looked like a physical role that he was having to train for. You know? I think I like that movie mostly because he just got clipped in every other scene, and it was very cathartic. Kind of the same thing for Minority Report. Yeah, he looked kind of. Yeah, well, you know, hey, you know. That's an interesting observation. Yeah, that's. I'm just telling you. Remember when Justin Bieber was trying to get back in the good graces of everybody? He did a roast. He went to the roast thing. Maybe Tom Cruise did like a series of films where he was getting his ass whooped and beat up to get back in everyone's good graces. I mean, technically his background, his science background would make him being in a sci-fi movie more believable because, well, that's just kind of how they jive. Yeah, with what? I'm just saying, the Xenu Battleship Earth. Wait a minute. That it? Are you talking about Battlefield Earth? Battlefield Earth. No, that was Cruise, garbage. Yeah, it was. Well, he wasn't in it. I think it was John Travolta that was in that. Yes, that is correct. You are absolutely correct. But what I mean is here's the thing with sci-fi genre. As a rule, unless you're doing like a sci-fi comedy, and even then the rule is bent a little bit. Think about it. Yeah. In the majority of sci-fis, in some form or fashion, the main character is going to get a can of whoop ass busted out on them. Star Wars, Luke gets his hand cut off. Okay. Lots of episodes with the original Star Trek, where Kirk is having to fight the damn what is the lizard thing called? You know it. I know it. I watched it like a couple months. No. Gorn. The Gorn. Gorn. Yeah. Bro. Yeah, Kirk fighting the Gorn, and then Kirk fighting at that Triad Arena thing. Yeah, the Gorn. Yeah, the Gorn. Like a slee stack on steroids. Pretty much. But let's see. I'm trying to think what other sci-fi. I haven't seen a lot of Battlestar Galactica, but the stuff I did see, the main character got whooped a couple times. What do you mean, the first series? Either, mostly the first series. No. I know there's a difference. I'm just talking about in terms of sci-fi main characters that have gotten their, back door pushed in a couple times. I'm just saying, sci-fi is like the one genre where you can very reliably, see the main character just take a beating. Obviously there are some mediums where that doesn't happen, but it's pretty, I personally would say it's pretty, established. Yeah. So, it might be a way of character relating to the audience because, an audience can't relate to somebody flying around with a spaceship, but they can relate to somebody getting their ass whooped over here next to the wall in the corner. So, maybe that's just that type of story plot device. I know that's part of, that's technically part of, why people related to Spock so much was, technically speaking, he was a nerd. Oh, technically speaking. Now, I know I don't want to get you on that Spock train, No, you don't. Well, we can do that next time or another time.
Days.
Yeah, one of these days we're gonna hop on that Spock train and you gonna roll.
He was my Superman.
Mm-hmm. I totally get it.
But anyway.
But so when you see Tom Cruise in sci-fi movies, you're just going, "Oh, he's about to get whooped hard."
Well, I think another thing that's a draw on it is, and it's he has this great profile, which looks really good in that jagged, desolate, background.
Yeah.
Order he brings to it in the foreground.
It might have to do with his science background.
Well, biology is a science. No, I mean, I just think
biology is not a social construct.
That is correct. Biology is.
But we'll talk about that at the paywall. Anyway, so
I don't know. He gave these stories. He gave them weight. He's another one. I got to give him his due. I don't necessarily. Not for me to like.
No. He's there to get whooped for me. Some chicks they kind of they kind of go, there's certain actors they have crushes on. I have a whoop ass crush on Tom Cruise. I live to see that man get thrown into the floor and get stomped on. It doesn't even have to be in a fun times way. It just has to be in the, I want this man dead, so I'm going to crush his thorax. Crush, stomp. I just love to see him get whooped, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Man, sometime in the future, there's going to be a point when, Tom Cruise is going to get all pissy because he's like, what do you mean you want to see me get my ass handed to me? And I'm like, I
think you just have to get in line for that.
Yeah, you're going to have to get in line. I want to see a number of people get whooped.
Well, that's true.
You just happen to be number one on that list. I think Sean Penn is like number 2.
What is it? What's that old thing? People will pay.
We were talking about that.
People will pay money.
People will pay a lot of money to see someone shut your mouth. The old wrestling heel, Gorgeous George, he gave that piece of advice to a very young Muhammad Ali, and that piece of advice rang through all of the wrestling, compendium for heels to operate on. People will pay a lot of money to see someone shut your mouth.
Yeah.
That is the wrestling heel's motto. That's their mantra.
Yeah.
Except for The Undertaker, who... I really want to talk about The Undertaker, but it's... Oh, God, look at the time. The Undertaker is so cool!
Yeah.
My dream matchup was always The Undertaker versus Andre the Giant. Not because... No. Here's the thing. Hear me out. Just a little quick segue, and hopefully we won't have to, go overtime. Little quick segue into wrestling. The matchup between The Undertaker and Andre the Giant. Now, The Undertaker would not have won. I know that. There's no way he could have done anything against Andre the Giant. Nobody could. No. The only time he lost is because they planned it, but that's how wrestling goes. What are you going to do? So, what I mean by my dream matchup, I mean it in terms of the theater of it. Right. Because obviously the Undertaker's not going to win. Yeah. But here's the thing. Imagine this. Andre the Giant... Who is Andre the Giant? Yeah. Who is this massive human being? Yeah. Just utterly indestructible. Encountering the dead man, who his main shtick was, typically in wrestling, there's a thing called selling the hit. where if someone hits you, you have to act like, oh, it just hurts you so bad. It did hurt, it's not, yes, wrestling is fake, but that doesn't mean they're not. Yeah, it's theater. Wrestling is fake, but that doesn't mean
it's got to be big for the people all the way in the back.
And, it doesn't also mean that they're not beating the snot out of each other. Because they are. Probably not nearly as badly as they used to, but it's still there. Not even close. So, yeah. So, basically, what I mean is The Undertaker, one of his things was he would not sell. In order to create the atmosphere and the thought process that he was this indestructible person / this something that was not human, was the fact that someone would hit him. Obviously, he would turn his head away or move his body from the impact, but he would just turn right back and stand tall like nothing had happened. Where most people, you slap them in the face in wrestling and they just dive into the floor to just clutch their face. But The Undertaker, Mark Calloway, he didn't do that. You would hit him in the face, he would, he would reel back from the impact, but he would, stand straight.
Yes.
I want to see that exchange between The Undertaker and Andre the Giant, where Andre would hit The Undertaker, but he would act like he didn't feel anything. Basically, it's that whole thing of an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. Where Andre is the unstoppable force because he is a giant of a man with all this strength. But you have The Undertaker, who is this immovable object where you can just throw anything you want at him, but he'll always snap right back up. That's why that's my dream matchup. I just want to see that exchange take place.
How long has it been since you expressed this lost memory?
This isn't a lost memory. I want this so bad. That's my dream matchup that will never... Yeah.
Well.
I know. Andre is dead and The Undertaker's retired.
He's dead.
Yeah, which is unfortunate, but that's always been my dream matchup, is just to see that little exchange is, how much can The Undertaker keep that facade up while Andre is just pummeling him into the dirt. Now great, it's not the best matchup in the world because it's my dream matchup. My dream. But anyway, I'm tired.
Somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to do it. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe next time we'll obviously where we want to do the fifth element, which, dang it, where's my notepad? It's behind you. We gotta write this stuff down eventually. Excuse me. I'm taking some water.
I don't have a pen.
Yeah, the pen is right there. Sorry, we're writing stuff down for next time. Yeah. Okay, fifth.
Counting it down.
Element.
So.
Wrestling, because I like wrestling.
Until next time.
Until next time, I have been your host, Bel-E.
And this is Scratch.
We were coming from the basement attic place, but now we must go. So, we hope to catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.